Welcome to Cyanide Cenobite Reviews. Today we're going to talk about Holidays, a recent horror anthology. And because it's an anthology, it has all kinds of writers and directors and actors and actresses that we're not even going to bother going into. We're just going to go straight into the actual features. And first up is Valentine's Day, a story about having a heart, or having a bad heart, and having a small child give you someone else's. I don't know, it's kind of weird. But it was really, really brutal. This is by far my favorite segment out of this entire anthology. It's beautiful, and it has this synth music and weird lighting that is, I mean, it verges on hilarious. I don't know if it's supposed to be, it kind of seems like it's supposed to be ironic, but that synth music is fantastic. The colors are great. There's a lot of super bright colors, whites, reds, pinks. There's a scene underwater when one of the characters is kind of drowning or faking drowning, and you can see like the black lines that mark the different lanes in the pool. They just look like crosses. They're not, I don't know how lanes and pools are usually supposed to be, but these basically just look like upside down crosses, which in the background is really awesome. But the story basically revolves around this girl named Maxine, who is relentlessly bullied by this girl on the swim team. And the coach of the swim team just seems to be the most horrible adult ever and should not be in charge of children, because he basically just stands on the sidelines and watches these kids brutalize Maxine without actually saying anything. And you find out Coach needs a heart transplant, and of course it is Valentine's Day, and he throws this big hissy fit because his significant other doesn't want to go out on Valentine's Day. So he gives Maxine a Valentine's Day card, which prompts her to brutally murder the mean girl with a brick, and she presents him with her heart. It was fantastic. I loved it. I can't really even think of anything that I didn't like about it. It's brutal, it's slightly gory, it's pretty, and the acting was good. Just 10 for 10 on that one for me. And then we go on to St. Patty's Day. Tunnel snakes rule. I have no fucking idea what the hell was going on with St. Patty's Day. There's this weird evil ginger kid, and she gets her teacher magically pregnant with like psychic roofies or some shit, and this woman is pregnant with this snake for like 390 something days, so she's gestating like a damn elephant. And then it's really dreary, it's dark. The actress conveyed her emotions really well. She's kind of terrified and then angry and then just nuts. You get to the end of the segment and Danny Zuko shows up in his tunnel snake leather jacket with his giant pompadour, talking about bringing the snakes back to Ireland, etc. There's all these people dancing around with plastic animal masks on. They're dancing in a field, and that's definitely the most beautiful part of the movie. There's sunshine and a lot of textures. They're out in nature. There's a lot of color, and this woman gives birth to a giant CGI snake with a tiny little pompadour, and it's weird and sometimes seemingly nonsensical. It worked. It's not my favorite. I did find it enjoyable. It's a little slow, but in a good way. It was just, there's a lot of patterns. There's a lot of geometric patterns in the short, which adds to the mysticism of it all. So that was neat, but what even happened? You'll watch that segment and not even understand what the fuck is going on. And that one, I mean, all the shorts kind of leave you to draw your own conclusions. This one left me not even wanting to draw a conclusion, because it just seemed so ridiculous. It seemed like two different movies kind of mashed all into one in a way that wasn't necessarily effective. I mean, everything up until the end, and you meet the Danny Zuko snake daddy was good, was interesting. But then when it hit that point, like if you had taken that out and just left everything else in place, it would have been okay. But it really pales in comparison to Easter, because holy furless, naked, sweaty rabbit Jesus, this segment was something that fell out of a fever dream. No, it burst forth from a fever dream. How do I even find the words to describe the horror of this segment? This is the only segment that there was a jump scare and I literally screamed. I don't know if it caught me out of nowhere or if it was just that good, but I literally jumped up in my chair and screamed when sweaty hairless rabbit Jesus jumped out of the little girl. The whole mythos was really fantastic. The little girl is in bed and she's supposed to go to sleep because the Easter Bunny's coming and no one's ever seen the Easter Bunny, and she is terrified. She's like, Mom, what if I have to get up and get a drink? What's gonna happen? And Mom's like, nah, you're fine, you're okay. Just don't get out of bed and go get a drink. And the asshole gets out of bed and goes and gets a drink in the middle of the night and stumbles upon sweaty, naked rabbit Jesus shitting baby chickens out of his stigmata wounds in his hands. And I used to love baby chickens, and I hope I never see one again, because they're just popping up out of his little stigmata. They're just these cute little pee-pee chickens, and it's horrible, absolutely horrible. So this was probably my second favorite in the anthology, if I had to rank them, because I am troubled by this. It was great. And I mean, the story that it told was pretty well wrapped up. The girl, I mean, when you see the Easter Bunny, you become the Easter Bunny. I don't know if the other Easter Bunny gets to go free or if another Easter Bunny just joins the flock, but this was fun. This was great. And it was pretty wrapped up in a neat little package. And then we shift gears and we go into Mother's Day, which was something completely different, and I want to say more realistic, if you can call it that. This woman, every time she has sex, she gets pregnant. So she goes to this retreat for barren women, which seems suspicious, and we launch into the topless, drug-fueled rape party where this woman is told that she is a gateway, and she's impregnated by this guy that looks like the new Aquaman. He's speaking in Spanish the whole time. Pretty intimidating looking guy. He's huge. So basically, I just thought that, okay, she's going to be a baby factory for all these barren women, because every time she has sex, she gets pregnant. So they're just going to have her crank babies out until they all get one. And then in the end, a full-grown man crawls his way out of her vagina. And I am not sure what the hell she was a gateway for, but I bet she didn't think she was a gateway for whatever the fuck that was. The movie, the segment is really glossy and dreamlike, and everything is super bright and clear and crisp. And it's definitely witchcrafty. I don't know if there's anything I can necessarily liken it to. It was good. It was not as interesting. It was a little slow. They've got her drugged, so she's mostly nonverbal, and it's basically just people talking around her about what to do with her. And the full-grown man crawling out of her vagina in the end was a surprise. That one was not as good as Father's Day. Father's Day was haunting, to say the least. All the colors are muted. It's mostly in grays. It was really tense. I felt really on the edge of my seat the entire time. This woman comes home to find a box on her doorstep, and it happens to be a recording that her father had made for her before he mysteriously goes away. And the interesting thing is, he's making this recording for her, with her in the past when she's a little girl. So when she's a little girl, he's talking into the recorder, making this entire journey. about it's the directions on where to go to be with him and everything, and it was really cool. It was a really fresh idea. So you take this journey with this woman who's trying to find out what happened to her dad, and you end up in this kind of stark building in the middle of nowhere, and she's going through there, she's listening to her dad the whole time, and she's really emotional, and she seems so drawn in by his voice, and she's like detached. I don't know, the actress really nailed it for what was going on. And she gets to the end, and you don't know if it was her dad she found or not, because she disappears. I mean, she just kind of floats off into the ether, and you really don't know if she found her dad or if something lured her in like it lured her dad in. And it really drops off, which I thought I would have liked a little bit more. I would have at least liked a little bit of, you know, knowing where she was going. But all in all, that was really good too. And then we get to Halloween. And after that comes Christmas. And Christmas was, it was fun. I mean, it wasn't scary. It had some elements of suspense, I guess. Seth Green was in that, and I like him. I think he's humorously adorable, and he ends up letting this guy die because he wants this one last toy for his kid, and it's a set of glasses that you wear that show you yourself. So throughout the short, we get to see who he is. Like, he's reliving what he did to this guy by watching it through these glasses, and then his wife finds out. And then he watches the glasses, or looks at the glasses when she was logged into him, and she sees her killing her boss. And there wasn't really much more to it than that. It was just A and B and C. You didn't have to think about it. You didn't have to wonder about it. It's just, here are these glasses. They show you what happened. Now everybody knows what everybody else did. But it was really enjoyable. I can't say, like, the VR perspective that they did in the film was really cool. I really liked the VR perspective. Other than that, cinematography was just whatever. But throwing those elements in made it really interesting. I loved the perspective. And finally, we have New Year's. New Year's was fucking awesome. New Year's was this anthology's answer to the slasher film. In the very beginning, there's a twist, which I guess it depends on how you feel about twists and reveals. I'm more of a reveals person than a twist person, but this twist was cute. I saw it coming from a mile away, but it opens with this man lamenting over this woman doesn't understand him, and he kills her. Alright, whatever. Moving on, we flash forward to this woman sitting on a couch, perusing, you know, whatever their answer to OkCupid or Plenty of Fish is, and she finds the guy that we see shooting this lady in the beginning of the film. And they go out, they meet, he's horribly awkward and weird and has terrible teeth, and he's asking her if he can look at her teeth, which she's fucking awkward as shit too. She is really fucking awkward. So, you know, they kind of mesh, and they end up back at her place for some reason that doesn't even make sense, but it's a means to an end. So they're kind of hanging out, and he's getting ready, getting amped up to, I guess, kill her too. So he excuses himself to the bathroom, and while he's in there, he opens the medicine cabinet because he wants to, like, stick her toothbrush in his mouth because she has nice teeth, and, you know, why not? And there are jars of organs in her medicine cabinet with dudes' names on them. So apparently she is the OkCupid Ripper. So he freaks out and he slams the medicine cabinet closed, and she comes in with an axe and starts tearing shit up. She is just axing everything, and she's in, like, the hazmat suit with the goggles. I mean, she's ready to fuck some shit up. And he falls into the bathtub, and there's, like, hanging meat in the bathtub and part of a body in the bathtub itself, and so they struggle, and she ends up getting his eyes. She cleaves him right in the forehead with the axe, and it was really fun. Predictable, yeah, but it was exciting and you really wanted it to go longer. Like, I wanted twice as much of this as what I got because it was, you know, not high on substance, but what the hell slasher is high on substance? You just want to watch people get their heads chopped in half. So that one was awesome. And I love horror anthologies. Overall, I mean, I watched this 4 times between the first time I saw it and making this video. I'll probably watch it again after this just because I've been talking about it and I like it so much. This totally trumps ABCs of Death. It trumps Theater Bazaar. This is great. Watch this movie. And me telling you all this stuff is not going to spoil it. Like, you would still enjoy it even knowing what's happening. So, 10 for 10 on this one for me. I love this movie, and I hope that y'all like it too, because I don't have anything but good things to say about it. And next week, we're going to review another one that I've watched multiple times. We're going to review Deathgasm. Fucking Deathgasm. Go watch that movie. Hurry up, because you should not be spoiled. I'm going to spoil that one. I spoil everything. We know this already. Go watch that movie. Please go watch that movie. Watch it 3 times over the next week because you can't not appreciate that movie. It's just so much fun. And if you were a metal kid in high school, like a weirdo metal kid like I was, this is what you wanted your life to be when you were that weirdo metal kid in high school. So we'll be back in a week with Deathgasm. Promise not to be late this time. And thanks for tuning in. Like, subscribe, share.